The latest information that we have is that no one is allowed to leave site.
Give everyone their passports back now!
Move! Now!
At first it was like a paradise, but when you are walked in, it is not paradise anymore.
I didn't really expect to get here and experience the last festival on Earth.
On March 15th, the Tribal Gathering Festival in Panama was placed under lockdown due to the coronavirus pandemic. Dozens of people are still stuck on site. It's now the last festival on Earth.
When I first got here, I didn't even know what the coronavirus was. And then maybe about 2 weeks later, some other the crew members came through the airport and they said they got tested for this thing called coronavirus. I kind of thought pretty much nothing of it at the time.
It wasn't until the 10th of March before the coronavirus came to Panama, and it was pretty quick after that it started to have effects on what was going on at the festival.
Tribal Gathering was designed to be a temporary paradise where people from Western cities could learn from indigenous communities how to rebalance society and live in symbiosis with the Earth. But the Earth doesn't always play ball. As COVID-19 spread, the utopia was placed under lockdown. Though most of the indigenous performers had left halfway through the festival, it began to dawn on everyone else that they were stranded now in this paradise.
The festival's just about to end. They were saying how they wanted to close the festival down. So then I started to realise maybe something was kind of happening.
Everyone on site was called to the main stage, where we were told that if you had been on site or in Panama for less than 14 days, then you have to remain on site and then you could leave after that point.
There are 4 checkpoints between here and Sabanitas, and they will check your passport. So if one of you jumps on the bus and you are outside of that quarantine time, that whole bus will come back.
There was concerns about, can we get food, can we get cleaning products, can we get tobacco?
By this point, most of the indigenous people had left, and the management team reassured us that we had enough food to last us that week.
If you want to eat food here, you have to buy it. Okay, we're going to offer people who are a bit poor to be able to work and all that kind of stuff, yeah, but you're going to have to work. Don't try and steal our food, I'll get really upset with you. And remember where you are, you're in my fucking map.
Nothing had really changed for us. We were still in the same place, we were in paradise, we had the same meals and the same great people around us.
I'm not sure if I'm able to stay here, but if not, if you guys want something to do and want to help, there are palm trees and trees that are eroding away from ocean acidification and rising seas.
We don't hear you! We don't hear you!
Oh, shut up then!
People come here often to party, but the spirits have been here from all the indigenous medicine. It traps people here and forces them to work on their spiritual self. And so a lot of people here are trapped right now, and they're definitely forced to grow as a person. I've grown as a person, and very happy to be here, and we'll see if I leave.
Sending out love, connectedness.
Reconnecting with ourselves, hugging Mother Earth.
Yes, we all quarantine together until you will have new wings that you can fly properly. Yes.
We were to make people comfortable so that they felt safe and calm. There was not an element of, well, we might as well just keep partying.
I got quarantined yesterday, but now everything is kind of normal. Like, the whole world is getting crazy. We're in the middle of nowhere, but we have everything we want to. We get fresh orange juice in the morning, ice cream and everything, everybody's kind of happy and everybody's kind of crazy.
People are happy, people are fed, there's water. There's worse places to be in the world.
Good morning! Good morning!
By the time it got to the Sunday, we started seeing the army, a lot of authorities, the police and stuff coming. I think really then it started to hit me that this isn't just like a normal closing down of a festival.
The military and the police came to the festival site.
The problems for people leaving started to happen where there was checks on people's passports that had to happen. There were checks on people's health. They had the fever test on their forehead.
Shuttle buses had been running, so anyone that could leave was allowed to.
We thought initially the bus had broken down. However, we were told it was stopped by the authorities, even though they had given permission for these buses to leave, for people to get their flights, to get out of Panama.
A couple of people were dragged forcibly off the bus and they slept outside on the ground. The next day they were brought back, but the police had kept their passports. The mood definitely changed in terms of how serious it had become.
The latest information that we have is that no one is allowed to leave site unless they've got a flight the next day. And that flight needs to be confirmed and it needs to be proved.
Buenos días. Soy el mayor Edgardo Bonilla de la Policía Nacional.
We dragged her off the bus and made people sleep on the fucking ground.
The reason why he left people out sleeping in the grass last night is because that was better than taking them to the airport and risking other people getting infected with the virus that we don't have.
Give everyone their passports back now.
Y perdiendo los vuelos porque no podemos salir de aquí. Hay gente que ha perdido.
People would be allowed to leave and they wouldn't, then there was 14 days quarantine, then there wasn't. I mean, it was just madness.
It was becoming increasingly difficult, quite literally every couple of hours, to get out of there. The dates just kept being pushed back all the time.
The last 4 days I've had up to 6 or 7 different scenarios of what is to happen.
You can go to another country, they can still leave you enter, like Nicaragua still make people enter in. But what happens if this gets more crazy and then you are there? I don't know what to think about.
These are huge decisions that we have to make because it's should I stay, should I go? And there's no way to make that decision. The US is not doing jack shit to help American citizens.
I feel like everyone is just, in a big twirl, or how we say in Spanish, un gran mareo. Everyone's just kind of dizzy and trying to figure out things, about what to do, where to go, and who to trust, because there has been situations where the military are being very aggressive.
Move, move, move! Now!
The situation about leaving changed that much, that quickly, that you were on a roller coaster of emotion.
Each day seemed like it was getting kind of worse and there were other problems. And to be honest, at some points you feel like, is this going to get better? Because it doesn't seem like anyone's helping us.
There was an element of dread and worry and panic.
Urgency, when there was a window of opportunity to go, people felt compelled that they had to rush and go.
They need to go there. Thanks. Flights still have tickets for $350 USD to Canada for today through Sunday. So you're responsible for all costs, so this is just a transport option out of here without a flight confirmation. Yeah, we will take it. Yeah.
Eventually, it got to a point where we stopped the quarantine here after talks with immigration and the health and the tribal gathering lawyers chatting for ages, and it got to a point where people could leave.
Bye, everybody.
The lockdown on site would no longer be enforced, but by now, most flights out of the country had been cancelled.
The responses were pretty quick from the French embassy, the Hungarian embassy, the German embassy. They were like, yep, we're coming down, we're going to extract our people, we're going to get them home. Meanwhile, we are still really waiting and getting quite frustrated about where our embassy is, the British embassy.
As punters became forced to lean on their embassies to escape, the global community quickly became a list of distinct nationalities.
Tomorrow there'll probably be a different thing. Maybe the embassies will private jets. Some you never know. There might be a helicopter that comes down and you all just dive in. I don't know.
How I eventually got off site, we received an email from the embassy saying that they would come with embassy buses, I think because there was a lot of pressure through social media. They're taking us to the British embassy, which is good. We're going to kick up a fuss there, but They've told us that we have to sort our own accommodations out and transport and things like that, which is, you know, great. Thanks, UK.
Sleep over at the embassy's house.
Whoa.
After the British embassy drove its citizens to Panama City, many of them became stranded there indefinitely, subject to strict quarantine.
I live in Panama for the next 30 days at least. I feel really sad. I just want to go home.
Most of the punters were eventually able to leave, but the organizers, the true believers, and people who were unable to get a flight in time stayed behind.
We're still here 20 days after the festival finished.
We are creating a tribe from tribal gathering. We're in paradise, we have the beach, we have the jungle. It's a privilege.
There are dozens of people still stranded on site. No one knows when they'll be able to come back, and when they do, what kind of world they'll be returning to. They're now some of the millions of people currently stranded around the world due to the pandemic.